My name is Lucinda Hurst, and I have a son, Andy Hurst. He is 17, and Andy has Down syndrome. And I recently purchased a property in Mount Lookout, which is near our home, about a mile away from our home in Hyde Park. A couple of years ago, two friends of mine, very sharp, intelligent women, and myself, they also have children with disabilities. The three of us decided that we wanted to start looking at opportunities, places to live in the city for our children, because we recognize that there is a housing crisis in the city for people with disabilities. To make a very long story short, that never came to fruition, but we met lots of really great people who helped me solidify what my plan could look like for Andy. And just through serendipity, I was looking at homes in the Mount Lookout region for another friend, and I was looking at two families, and I came across this two family that just seemed way too good to pass up. As I said, it's about a mile from our house, and after years of wondering where Andy was going to live, I understood by this point that he would do best in the community in which he grew up. He knows people there, people know him, it's a very walkable community, so it just seemed like the ideal place to be looking. And like I said, I wasn't necessarily looking, but when this landed in my lap, I just could not pass it up. It is close to the church we attend, and it is close to two of Andy's favorite places, Zips in Mount Lookout and UDF, so Andy can walk and do those things. So I bought this house, and I was really fortunate in that I had a silent, not so silent mentor / partner who was willing to help me finance it and also help me through the process of buying my own home. So like I said, it was too good to pass up. It was in great condition. It had tenants. There was really nothing that hindered me from doing this except the fact that Andy is 17. So why in the world did I start so soon? And again, it goes back to the journey that I was on with my friends to find a really great, safe, awesome neighborhood for Andy to live in. And when that did not work, I still had this, I still felt I needed to do something. I needed to move this forward. I couldn't just wait for something to happen to us, or I didn't want to wait. I've gone to lots of meetings at Hamilton County DDS, and I've met other families who were in the same situation that we are, and their children with disabilities were in their 30s and 40s. And that seemed terrifying to me, to be looking a little bit more under duress. I wanted to look at our own time and our own timeline. So that's why I did it, even though Andy's 17. I'm not pushing him out the door at 22 or even 25. I know this could be years down the road, but that's great as well, because I really feel very strongly that Andy will benefit from being able to go to this house. So what we've done, the first 2 months I owned it, no one lived in it. And so Andy and I would go over there pretty often, and we'd clean and we'd work in the yard, and he really got to see it and experience, and he got a feel for where it is in proximity to the church and to Mount Lookout Square and even to our own home, that it's not far. And I could just tell he was getting more and more comfortable, felt like this is a place he could live in. My dream would be for one of my other children to live there one day, and then Andy could spend even more time there as a young adult and get to know how to use the stove that is in the apartment, get to learn how to use the thermostat that is in the apartment. Because I could teach Andy all of those things. We could work together at home on those things. But to be quite honest, when Andy would get to a stove that was not the stove in Hyde Park, he would look at that, and that isn't even necessarily a stove to Andy. He could then go and see firsthand, this will be the exact place I'm moving to, and I feel comfortable in this place. That's exactly why I bought it so soon. The reason I put it into an LLC is twofold. One, as I mentioned, I had a silent partner / friend who has done this before and felt that would be the best way for us to approach this. I also did it from a tax standpoint because it would be, the tax code allows for us to write off many of the expenses and such associated with this building or this house because it's part of an LLC. And I also did it because through an operating agreement within the LLC, my husband and I will be able to determine more easily what happens to the house if the house no longer works out for Andy. So if Andy lives there for a couple of years, decades, whatever, and then he needs to go somewhere else, we have something in place that's already understood by everyone involved, and it's legal, so we know exactly where the house will end up in the long run. So that is why we put it into an LLC, and that is exactly why I bought a house, and believe me, if I can do it, anyone can do it.